Previously on the Maxwell and Traye Show, I didn't record for an entire hour. It was horrible, and hopefully that doesn't have to happen again. Are you in agreement, Maxwell?
I'm in complete agreement. So, welcome back, everybody. This week, we are going to be talking about our favorite TV, not our favorite, but one of our favorite TV shows, Lost. And it's been about 10 years since the finale aired, so now's as good a time as any to start talking about it. And Trey and I have been itching to talk about this conversation. If you recall in our last episode, we recommended everyone go and watch Lost, but seeing as it's 6 seasons, I highly doubt you've made it past the first season.
Yeah, Lost is very good and should be watched by everybody who listens to this podcast, because I believe after this episode that we will be making many references to it.
Yeah, completely agreed. And before we begin any farther, heavy spoilers.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like we will get into...
I think should we do an overview of Lost with no spoilers?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, and then we'll get into the spoilery stuff.
Yeah, that's a perfect idea. So
okay.
If you want to go ahead and kind of start
I
on
do
it.
have a lot of perfect ideas.
All right. Yeah.
Okay, so essentially,
like not recording when we start talking.
Oh, it was brilliant.
Hour and 10 minutes.
It was one of the best ideas. Speaking of ideas, a great idea would be subscribing to today's sponsor, the Maxwell and Traye Show. That's right. We are.
Yeah, we don't have a sponsor.
Yeah,
but if you guys want to check out on our Patreon, yes, and we don't have any patrons yet, but that fanfic is 100% coming to our first patron.
By the way, that was the sound of me drinking water.
I also have water right here.
Yummy. That probably means I'm gonna have to pee halfway through the podcast.
Is this some Traye ASMR?
Traye ASMR? Oh, absolutely. You don't mean peeing halfway through the podcast, right?
Do I mind? Is that what you're asking?
No. I mean, I said, do you mean? You said Traye ASMR.
No, I just meant the water.
Okay, yeah, good.
No one wants to hear that.
Okay, well, if worst comes to worst, you have to sing. You have to sing them a song while I go.
I'm not singing. I'll play a song, but I'm not going to sing one.
No, you have to sing the song.
I'll sing "You All Everybody," but I'll just say the one line over and over again.
Yeah.
Because I don't think there's any other lyrics.
No, there are other lyrics.
I don't know them, so I'm just going to say.
Well, you're an idiot.
All right, my bad. All right,
okay,
so should we get into the recap?
So first of all, "You All Everybody" is a Lost reference,
which you will soon find out as we recap.
Correct.
Do a quick. Yeah. Go ahead. Just
start.
So
So Lost focuses on a group of plane crash survivors who crashed on a mysterious island in the South Pacific. Right?
Yeah.
South Pacific.
They said it's near Fiji.
Yeah, near Fiji.
Approximately. Yeah, right.
Yeah, and basically they crashed there on a plane, and a bunch of wacky stuff starts happening.
Right, so they are on the notorious flight Oceanic 815.
815. Good old 815.
And we're going to get into numbers a lot with this show.
Numbers, you say?
Boy. Numbers, I do say. And on the flight, they are going from Sydney, Australia to Los Angeles. And yeah, they crash, and Lord of the Flies antics ensue, and it's a crazy ride. So I think
and then after the the initial, hey, we're stuck on an island stuff ends, it gets all wacky. It gets crazy with factions and let's say others. Get it?
Yeah.
Because okay.
They make,
you too could get it if you watch Lost.
Exactly.
There's stuff with organizations, and it's really good. It's really good. Okay, spoiler alert now.
Okay. So in the end, they all die.
Yep.
Yep. Well, okay. The common misconception is they were dead the whole time. Which is
they were not in fact dead the whole time. The ending you see is a time jump.
Well, okay, no.
It's not necessarily
more
a time jump.
Complicated than that. It's a little
okay. Well, why don't we talk about the ending last, because it is the ending.
I like that idea. Let's start from the beginning.
See, I'm full of good ideas.
Let's start at the beginning. Opening shot. Jack's eye opens up, and he's in the middle of a bamboo.
Jacksepticeye.
He's in some bamboo in the woods, and then he rushes to the beach, and that's when everything ensues. And before, so I rewatched some episodes this week because it's been 3 years since I've seen the show. So I rewatched some to kind of just get it, fresh in my mind. I rewatched the pilot on Monday. Yeah, it was Monday.
Pilot.
And
get it? Because the plane crashed?
Hilarious.
Oh, speaking of pilot, we're going to get to one of my favorite characters.
Oh, really? I didn't like him. All right, we'll get to him.
No, it's just fun to say his name.
Oh, yeah. Well, agreed on that.
Yeah. That's why I like him. Every time he's on the screen, I will say his name.
I'm not gonna lie, I forgot what his name was until I got to the finale today, and they said his name once, and
Lapidus. Frank J. Lapidus.
Lapidus. It is.
Sounds kind of like something that's really funny.
Okay, I don't even. What was I talking about with the pilot?
You were talking about Lapidus. No, you were talking. Lapidus.
Okay, so I rewatched the pilot the other day.
What if his name is Cletus? Cletus Lapidus.
I think is great about the pilot is how it, like, in the first 10 minutes, establishes everybody's personality. It very
and you don't even know it yet.
Right. It very clearly shows who everyone is within a span of the first 10 to 15 minutes. Right. Jack's doing his thing where he's rushing around. He's taking charge. He's trying to fix every problem, and he's a doctor, so obviously he's going to try and help everyone with their injuries. Hurley is Hurley. Just
Hugo Reyes, which, by the way, we never figure out why his nickname is Hurley, because he acts all mysterious about it, and then just nothing happens.
Nothing, right? Yeah, it does a fantastic job of just establishing people from the get-go, and I realized rewatching episodes this week how easy it is to latch on to the characters. You know what I mean? They are
it's almost like they were designed to be likable.
Right. I'm just saying, most shows I think you watch nowadays, or most shows made for networks that are supposed to, bring in a large pool of people, they're not very well developed characters. A lot of them are just very one note. They kind of have one or two personality traits. That's about the extent of it. These are very well formed characters. It's almost like when we were talking about Star Wars last week. The original trilogy being written in mind with the prequel trilogy, or being written with the mindset of the prequel trilogy being created later.
You really just do not like the word trilogy, do you?
Trilogy. Okay.
It's like trilogy, that medicine on the
from the
commercials?
pilot. It almost seems like they have the character stories completely fleshed out already.
I feel like that's in part because it was probably the show that spurred serialized television that you need to see every episode.
Oh yeah, completely right.
And so it was really experimental. So they probably, I would imagine that the characters were engineered to, you have to be invested in them, otherwise it's not going to work as a show.
Right. I think it also does a great job of it's bingeable. It's bingeable like all those shows on Netflix, and it tells one overarching story. But what it does is each episode is entertaining enough on its own because people have to come back every week. It's not like you can just watch them all in a row. Whereas when a season drops on Netflix, there tends to be one or two episodes out of an 8-episode season, So a quarter of the show is just they drag a lot and they're just filler episodes because there's nothing else to do. Whereas in the case of network TV, every episode had to be great. Everyone had to be tuning in. Otherwise, there was the fear of cancellation.
Correct.
Right.
So, it was quite good.
Right.
I mean, I personally watched it. When did I watch it? Do you remember if I watched it before Christmas, correct?
Yeah,
I watched it.
I think you finished it on New Year's Eve or right around.
You know what? No. Keep talking because I'm gonna find the exact date that I finished it because I remember very vividly. It was a Sunday night and it was 2:30 in the morning. Well, okay, so it was Sunday night going into 2:30 in the morning, and it was a school night.
Right.
And so I took a picture and saved it and captioned it. This will be
hang on. You sent me a picture. It's dated December 30th, and I'm just reading it now. You said, "Bruh, I've watched so much Lost in such a concentrated amount of time that I can predict what's going to happen just based on the background music."
Oh yeah, I did do that. That was legendary.
and then New Year's Eve you sent me it's Traye colon and then an asterisk mentions something
January 6th, I finished it.
colon that plot line, because there's quite a lot that
Oh
happens.
yeah.
There's
Okay, so essentially what I would have to do is, since it was so long that he watched the show ago after wait, that made no sense. Since he had watched the show so long ago before I watched it, he had forgotten almost everything. So I would just mention something that I saw, and he'd be like, "Oh, that plot line."
Well, because there's a lot, right?
Oh yeah, there's a lot. It was January 6th, by the way. It says,
Okay.
"Hey, me from the future, just wanted to remind you that today was the day that you stayed up until like 2:30 on a school night finishing Lost."
I mean, yeah, I do recall that, you coming in
Yeah.
the next day. I actually remember that. I remember seeing you in homeroom and you being like, I stayed up till 2:30, and then I don't think.
It was a horrible
Regardless.
idea.
Yeah, it was a horrible idea. You were a wreck that day, but
Yeah, but it was
regardless,
worth it.
It was 100% worth it. I think the thing with season 1 is it kind of tries to grab people in with sort of a realistic and soap opera type format with,
Mhm.
they're just plain survivors. But then
There's just a hint of mystery, enough that says, "Hey, wait a minute, something's not right here."
something is clearly off. Whether it's like Walt and his magical abilities that are never explained.
Walt!
That's the only line I know that Michael ever said. It's like, you gotta help me find Walt.
Walt!
They just fizzled out of the show. That was
They did.
annoying.
It was,
Yeah.
well, you know why, right?
No.
It was because of puberty.
Oh, right.
The
yeah,
actor
they
for
couldn't keep
Walt
Walt.
got too
Right.
old. for
They
the
couldn't
role.
keep him. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
okay.
because time was passing in the show much slower than it would have for Walt.
Yeah, so for those who don't know, the first 3 seasons of Lost take place over the span of approximately 3 months, from like September 2004 to December 2004, January 2005.
Yeah, and then the last few seasons. Oh, it's so weird.
It's weird, but I
There's-
really love what they do.
Oh yeah, me too. The
Yeah,
time
yeah.
jumps are really well done. So essentially, first there are two stories playing out. There's a story that happens
In the past.
in the past, the flashbacks, right?
Uh-huh.
And then there's a story happening now, and then there are the flash forwards.
Right, and then
eventually
flash sideways.
It's so
it gets
convoluted.
Yeah,
You have to pay attention the entire show.
which is, again, me just rewatching a few episodes. I'm remembering 30 different plot lines that converged into this one thing.
Oh yeah,
That-
that's another thing.
I-
How interconnected everything is. It's like
Which-
Phineas and Ferb on crack.
I mean, it is. I mean, honestly, if you're a kid that grew up watching like Gravity Falls and Adventure Time, those type of shows, this is like the adult version of that. I would say, well, this probably inspired that. In all
It
honesty,
is
this came
so
right.
good.
It's so fantastic.
Yeah. Let's see all the fan bases it could encompass: mystery,
Uh-huh.
science fiction,
Yes.
fantasy to an extent,
Mm-hmm.
reality TV,
Yeah.
shows like Survivor.
Right. It's very reminiscent of that. Richard like legit looks like Jeff Probst twin.
Richard.
Like, what was his real name? Ricard. Oh, I forgot. He's from
Yeah.
like the 1700s or something.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
There's a
he
guy in it.
starts speaking Latin.
There's a guy in it who's in a oil,
Ricardus.
and he speaks Spanish and Latin and English, but he looks like a guy from the 1980s.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
he was Ricardo and Ricardus and Richard.
Yes. It's oh my god. The mythology of the island is insane.
It's
too.
so bizarre too.
It's so bizarre. Well, okay, then there's like Bigfoot, and you're like, okay, this is weird. All right, you're like, there's a stat. All right, listen. On the island, there was this giant statue that was, I think it
It's the
resembled.
foot.
Well, originally it was like
I know.
Osiris or something, right? It
Yeah.
was like an Egyptian god. Then somehow, I forget how. I think it might have been the man in black that either destroyed it or something else led to it, and it's just a big foot that Jacob sits in. And
It's a
he,
giant
like,
foot. This dude sits in a foot
That's
and
all
just
he
makes blankets.
and he makes blankets. He spins the spinning wheel, and that's
Yeah.
it. It's
It is one of the strangest shows I've ever watched. I mean, I
And
love it,
100
but
I love it. It 100% jumps the shark in like season 4, season 5, but it's still, the story is still engaging.
yeah,
but
the
from
realism is completely gone by
Right,
the time
which-
season 4 hits, because you've got time travel, you've got
multiple
Jacob,
timelines.
the Man in
You have
Black.
Jacob, yes. the duality. Yeah, it's really insanity, and you really need to watch it from beginning to end, and then watch some analysis videos to
Oh yeah.
begin to understand it. Because
Can you imagine watching the finale at 2:30 in the morning after watching Lost for 4 hours?
dude, I would be emotionally wrecked.
I was,
Like,
I was sitting there in a trance, like, okay.
what now?
Wh- Oh yeah, that's another thing. If you watch Lost, you will feel a void in your soul after you finish it.
There's nothing else to watch. It's nothing.
I legitimately did not watch anything for months after I finished Lost.
It's okay. I think we need to start talking about actual plot points now.
Yeah,
so
other than
people-
it's so good. This is why
Right.
it's so good.
but it is an amazing show.
It
Alright,
is.
so. We were talking about.
Yeah.
We were trying to talk about season 1 there, right? So
Yeah, season 1.
I think we should just give a brief rundown. of
TLDL. The good
the
old
characters.
TLDL. Bring it back.
TLDL. All right. There's main characters. Jack, a doctor who has this kind of complex of trying to always fix things. Kate, who is an ex fugitive. She's Jack's love interest.
Hey,
Sawyer.
you know what? This is the part whenever I take that break we were talking about, and you can go over the characters.
Cool. This is perfect timing. All right. So, then there's Sawyer, who is kind of the what would be essentially the bad boy of the group. Sun and Jin, which are a Korean couple. Saeed, who is an Iraqi engineer. Claire, who is a pregnant woman and then gives birth on the island. Charlie, who is a band member of the band Drive Shaft. Hurley, who is probably the funniest character on the show and is highly superstitious, but is also probably the most lovable character on it. And in terms of flight survivors, that's about it. There's a few minor characters, and a lot of them die off soon, or they kind of get pushed to the background, but that's the big gist of it. In season 1, then we're introduced to the main antagonists, which are the Others, who are this race of people on the island that are just kind of never seen, never shown. They're just largely feared, and they get to be explored a lot more in season 2. And at the end of season 1, oh, how could I forget about him? John Locke, named after the English philosopher of the same name. Many of you will recognize the name John Locke from history textbooks.
Yeah,
but
John Locke is cool.
I think he is hands down one of the, if not the best character on the show.
Yeah,
and I think,
and he's one of my favorite characters in all of television, really.
Oh, yes, yeah.
I was so interested in his story from the very beginning.
Right, and there's something in that pilot. There's something, like, something's up with him.
We really need to talk about all the symbolism in the show at some point, because the fact that he was a paralyzed man who could walk.
Right, yeah. It's a lot.
Yeah, okay, that's not symbolism, but that's very clearly drawing on real world allusions to like biblical texts and miracles.
Yes. There in Lost, there's a lot of allusions to real life religions and religious texts.
But it's interesting because it's not like it doesn't allude to one religion specifically.
Right, which is what I love about the finale, which we will try to get to in this conversation.
Yeah.
But
we're 20 minutes in, by the way, almost.
Oh Lord. Okay. Well,
yeah.
This is like, all right. We're in for a long one.
Speed run.
No. All right. So end of season 1. This is probably the biggest moment in the show, or transition wise, from one tone to the next, like from introducing the mysterious side of the show, and that's the hatch. So at the end of season 1,
the hatch. I love the hatch.
John and
Boone.
Jack.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Boone.
Oh no, I wasn't talking about. Well, John and Jack blow up the hatch.
Yeah, never mind. I thought you were talking about Locke finding the hatch. Did you already go over that?
No, I didn't go over that.
Well, I think we should give some context to what the hatch is.
Okay, right. Well, yeah, I would agree. Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
So basically, Locke and this other guy were Boone. He's kind of creepy. He's in love with his sister.
They're step siblings, just so we can make that clear.
I thought they were half siblings.
Step.
Yeah, you're right. They are. Never mind. I don't know why I said that.
idiot.
Yeah, you're right. Don't
That'd be
step,
kind of disgusting for network television, Trey.
don't step to the wizard because the wizard don't play nice. Diggity Dungeons on all of that. Every time I hear the word step,
We're never gonna finish this. I just.
Oh, no, we're not.
All right.
we're not finishing. We're gonna have to start over after an hour.
Just explain the hatch.
By the way, the half sibling thing was a joke. I didn't actually think they half siblings. That would be disgusting.
I don't know about that.
Nope.
I don't know about that.
See, Maxwell, there's this thing called
Irony.
yeah, and just understanding it, and you haven't achieved a high enough level of irony.
Sorry, I should probably watch some more Rick and Morty for that or something.
No, you have to go on Reddit and look at funny Big Chungus meme
Can you talk about
compilations.
the hatch now?
Yeah, the hatch. Okay, so basically, Locke and Boone are in the woods, and they discover this circle, and it's a hatch, and then Boone dies, and then Locke tries to open the hatch, and he's like, "I gotta open the hatch," and then that picks up where Maxwell started.
Right, so eventually with the help of Jack and Locke, for context, are kind of these foils to each other. Jack is a complete non-believer, whereas Locke is full-on, believes in fate, destiny, and reasoning behind everything in his life. So, John essentially has this mindset that we need to see what's in this hatch. This is all part of why we're here. This has to do with something. It's a man-made thing, obviously part of some form of technology they couldn't have just created on this island if it were uninhabited for centuries. So
Faux shizzle, as the kids say. I feel like that should be a Maxwell and Traye Show t-shirt. Faux shizzle, as the kids say. The Maxwell and Traye Show.
I think TLDL or We Weren't Recording should be before Faux shizzle because we've never said Faux shizzle up until this.
I said it.
moment.
I thought I said it the last episode. I could have sworn I said.
You might
the
have
last
said
episode.
it once, but it's not like common
No,
enough.
maybe I said it like 8 times in the first recording.
Okay, you probably did. All right, it needs to catch on before it becomes a
That's true.
catchphrase. All right, we'll get there eventually.
Yeah.
But what we won't get to is finishing this episode. I hope you guys like podcasts because this might be a 3 to 4 hour long one. All right,
Sir, finishing this Big Mac.
all right. So the
Yeah,
hatch.
no, we can probably speed it up in the later seasons because some of them are shorter than others, and
Yeah, agreed. All right,
it's all good.
it's all good. So John, Jack, and I think then Kate and Sawyer help in assisting on this. They go and get C4, and they go to blow up the hatch door, and then they make their way down there, and that leads into.
Hang on. Before we start that, when does the hatch glow? After Boone dies, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So
exactly.
Locke pounds on the hatch, and he's like, "Tell me what to do," or something like that, and then it starts to glow.
Right, which is very ominous and very. It seems to indicate something,
Mhm. But yeah, anyways, they blow up the hatch door, and then they go down the ladder, and that is the end of season 1.
Right. So.
And season 2 has probably my favorite season opening, and introduces my favorite character.
Yeah. So we get introduced to Desmond Hume.
Desmond Hume,
who
from
is
Scotland.
Once again named after another philosopher. Desmond Hume, yeah, he's from Scotland. He has a Scottish accent, and
it's
his
cool.
famous catchphrase is, you want to say it?
"I'll see you in another life, brother."
Yeah, which is, people have heard that. I've heard it said a lot, but from what I understand, it really stemmed from that show. I don't think many people really know that or understand that, so I think that's another fascinating thing. There's a lot of Lost ingrained into pop culture, and people don't realize.
Yeah, believe it or
No
not,
one's seen
because
it.
I feel like nobody in our generation has seen it.
Yeah, it's mostly, I'd say the most people who have seen it would be the Gen X generation.
Mhm.
I'd say millennials a little bit, but like
Yeah.
Gen Z,
Not really at all.
no one's seen it. I've maybe met 4 or 5 people my entire life, my age, who have met it, or who have
Who have
seen it.
met it? Yeah, I met Lost. How could you tell? Anyways, yeah. So Desmond Hume. Oh, we have to explain the entire. Do we have to explain the entire hatch, or I feel like we should leave a little bit to the viewers.
All right, yeah. There's a lot to
Listeners.
get through. Yeah, you can go ahead and speed run it.
Yeah, okay, so Desmond Hume is this really cool guy who lived in a hatch where he had to type a code into a computer to stop the world from ending.
And that code was 4, 8, 15, 16, 23,
42.
AKA the numbers.
The numbers, and those numbers show up everywhere. Everywhere in that show. Everywhere. Sometimes they'll show up at, just small parts of that sequence. Sometimes it will be the sum of that sequence. It's insane how often they show up. And remember whenever they explained what the numbers meant?
Oh yeah, they were
No, they didn't. They didn't explain why the numbers were there.
I thought the first occurrence of them showing up was Hurley's his winning lottery numbers. Because remember, he freaks out when they have to type it in, and he thinks his whole lottery number. Well, obviously, that's not where it stems from. Like, that's not the significance.
No, I'm talking about the significance of it.
Okay, yeah,
that's never explained.
They never explained it. There's a lot that goes unexplained. The season. All right, listen. The series finale. It's great emotionally, but it answers none of your questions.
Yeah.
Just be prepared to be disappointed.
Yeah, very, very.
We'll get to that. Okay.
Benjamin Linus. I was just thinking about Benjamin Linus.
He's introduced as Henry Gale.
Benjamin Linus Tech Tips. LTTstore.com.
We're still talking about the hatch.
Yeah, we are.
Okay.
I don't want to talk about the hatch. You talk about the hatch.
The hatch. Okay. So the hatch is part of this thing called the Dharma Initiative, and the Dharma Initiative was this program set up in the 1970s as like a scientific research initiative to study electromagnetic radiation on the island. The hatch is one of, I believe, 6 stations. It's called the Swan, and there was a pocket of electromagnetic radiation that I guess burst. They kind of it's complete pseudoscience. I don't know exactly how they explained it away, but to prevent the electromagnetic radiation from escaping and just causing harm, someone has to push a button every 108 minutes and type in the code that is 4, 8, 15, 16, 23, 42. Now, Desmond is put in place of pushing the button, which should be a 2-man operation, but his predecessor ends up dying after the two get into a tussle.
Yeah,
and
he accidentally kills him by bashing his head against a rock.
Right, but to be fair, the guy was kind of a jerk, so he kind of deserved it. Now, Desmond barely makes it. No,
He
Desmond
was kind of a Ricardus if you're picking up what I'm laying down.
Okay, I'm talking now.
Get it?
Okay, so Desmond actually doesn't make it back in time to type in the code, and so what ends up happening is that the code, the countdown goes past 0, and then these Egyptian hieroglyphics start flipping up on the counter, and then Desmond does type in the code, but it is highly indicated that him not typing in the code
would in fact cause something catastrophic to happen.
And in this case, it would be the plane crash of Oceanic 815.
Yeah,
and
correct.
That obviously causes some rifts between Desmond and the survivors.
Yeah.
Also, in Season 2, we get introduced to a multitude of characters that were at the tail end of the plane that didn't show up in the first season. So
Right.
you get Rose's husband, Bernard,
Bernard.
Mr. Echo,
Mr.
and-
Echo! I love Mr. Echo.
and Anna Lucia, who she's
And
played
Libby.
by, and Libby. I forgot about Libby.
Ooh, are we going to talk about Hurley?
I think we should. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we want to talk about it now or wait?
No, we can wait.
Okay,
Because
cool.
we're on the tail. We're on Season 2 right now.
All right,
we can
cool.
finish. We can do a TLDR. Ew, I just said the real version. No, we can do a TLDL for all the seasons and then talk about more of the cool stuff.
Okay, cool. So essentially, TLDL Season 2 was just an excuse to introduce some more characters and provide a bit more of the mythology to the island and the show.
It did a pretty good job of keeping things somewhat grounded in realism.
With like some pseudoscience.
All
here and
things
there.
considered, yeah.
Nothing more drastic or extreme than, say,
Electromagnetic gigawatts and boogaloos and whatnot and who's it's and what. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, Season 3, TLDL. Go.
I can't. I don't remember all what happened in Season 3. Oh wait. This is when they're taken prisoner by the others.
Correct.
This is when we really get to see the others. This season, actually, okay, this is one of my favorite seasons. I don't know how I forgot. This is
Because
a
you're
really good season.
stupid.
Well, okay, it's been 3 years since I watched the whole show. Trey.
Okay, Maxwell. We just said the name of the show in reverse.
The show is called the Maxwell Traye Show. Make sure to follow us on Instagram and subscribe to our YouTube. Thank you.
Yep.
And join our Patreon.
Yep.
We might do a Lost fanfic and have a crossover with a Star Wars fanfic.
Yep.
Okay, so go ahead and describe season 3.
Han and Chewie crash on the island.
So we do explore the time period in between episodes 6 and 7, and it's that Han and Chewie went on a little adventure to Earth.
Yeah.
And it's 2004 and not 300 years ago.
Yep.
Because it's yep. That's what a long time ago. Oh, they referenced Star Wars and Lost, so that doesn't work. Also, J.J. Abrams, he was. I don't know if he was the creator, but he helped a lot in the early seasons of Lost.
He was the
and
showrunner, I believe.
Oh, he was? Okay,
Yeah.
and then he went on to direct episodes 7 and 9 for Star Wars.
You do know
so-
why that's. You do know that's why Dominic Monaghan is in episode 9 so prevalently, right?
Oh yeah,
Because
Well, there's
they talked about Star Wars on set.
but you're aware there's other Lost actors.
Well,
within
yeah, I
episode
know, but
7,
he was just
yeah, him
by far the
I-
most prominent.
right. Okay, now we're talking about Star Wars, so let's get back to Lost.
Yeah, we already did that episode.
Okay. Please make sure to go watch, guys. We need more views.
Yeah. So I feel like yeah, season 3 was cool because we got to learn about the others and kind of the stuff that they do.
And particularly learn more about Ben, and
Mhm.
then
Juliet.
we are introduced to Juliet, who
It's kind of a
eventually
love
becomes-
interest for Jack. But
right,
then
but eventually
then,
she becomes Sawyer's
yeah.
female counterpart. See,
Yeah.
there's this whole, I would say it's a love square.
No, it's like a
between-
quad. It's like a polygon. There's just
I'd say
so
the
many
core-
different. So
core
many
four
different members
are
of it.
Jack, Sawyer, Kate, Juliet.
Yeah.
That's what I would say. But yes, obviously the romances, change from. Okay, something I just really wanted to point out really quick, and we were talking about this last time with Star Wars. And Lost does a very good job of having a very diverse and very wide range of
Oh yeah.
characters
For sure.
without forcing it. It actually plays into the story, and it's important to things that happen, right?
Yeah.
Like
Right.
Saeed especially, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Saeed. I mean, do I? No, I'm not gonna go there.
What were you gonna?
Well, I was just gonna say that it was so unfortunate how he died.
Oh yeah,
Because I mean,
it was pretty yeah.
yeah,
But we don't need to talk about it.
yeah. I mean, like after everything the show did to portray
Uh-huh.
him as I'm not one of these people.
Yeah, it was.
It was the stereotype, and
I
it was
think-
horrible. I felt so
Well,
bad.
Okay, to be fair, I think at least the early seasons did a really, because Lost came out at a very interesting time. It was 3 years after the September 11th attacks.
Yeah.
And so you have a plane that gets it's crashed, it's lost.
Right.
The show title, right, and it goes
Yeah.
missing. And then you have a character who is
One of the
Iraqi.
main characters is from the Middle East.
Right, he is Iraqi, and he is 100% one of, if not the most competent character among them.
Oh yeah,
Which is fascinating.
yeah.
And then you some racism from
I-
Sawyer.
I just really wish they hadn't killed him off by blowing him up. I mean, that's just
They seem to be playing into that stereotype, but I didn't think about it too much at the time. I just thought the way the story was progressing, it made sense.
Yeah.
But I do see how
it was
could
just
be
interesting.
perpetuating. Right? Yeah, it was an interesting choice based on what they had tried to do in earlier seasons with
Mhm.
him. Yeah, agreed.
But yeah, it was watching him develop as a character was really cool because even in the diversity of media today, you don't really get to see characters from the Middle East
No, really, yeah,
and
that's
who
not a whole-
actively identify as that.
Right. Yeah, they're not. Yeah, it's not like he's he's American, but he's of that descent. He fought in the Gulf War for
Right.
Iraq.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
they're-
Didn't he talk about that with Sawyer?
Yeah, I believe he did, if I'm remembering correctly. But they talk about it in the very first episode, like right off the bat. He was like, he was talking with Hurley, and he goes,
Hurley, that's right. Yeah.
I was in the Gulf War, and he was like, "Oh, really? My buddy was in, the Navy. What did you fight in?" And he goes, I was fighting for the other side."
He
And
was that
there's
the
that-
Republican Guard? Isn't that what
Yeah,
it was? Yeah.
that's right. Yeah, he was like, "Oh, my buddy fought in the Navy. Where'd you fight?" And he goes, "The Republican Guard." And then Hurley's like confused for a second, and then there's this fate that he has this emotion of just realization on
Yeah.
his face, and then he kind of just shuts up.
Yeah.
So
right.
it's I think it's interesting, but Hurley's another one. He's of Hispanic descent.
Mm-hmm.
Sun and Jin.
Sun
you
and
know?
Jin, yeah, they don't even speak English for most of the first few seasons.
Right.
Sun speaks English, but
Yeah, but what reason did she have for? She got a translator, right? What was the reasoning behind that?
what do you mean she
Didn't-
got a translator?
Didn't her? No, not a translator. I'm sorry. She got someone to teach her English. She had a tutor
Yeah,
for a
'cause
while.
she was cheating with the bald guy, and the bald guy taught her
Oh,
English
that's
because she
right,
was
that's
trying to
right.
escape to America.
Right. Okay,
And
I
that's
remember
why she couldn't show Jin that she knew English, because
now. Right.
where did
She had
you
to
learn
shut
it?
up.
Where did you learn it? I learned it from the guy I was cheating on you with.
Right. Yeah, man. That relationship was pretty messed up.
It was, but then it
Until-
was happy in the end.
Right. That's
Well, I mean-
that's what's great about the show, though, is like there's these people, right? They're just inherently flawed people, like
Right.
everyone else. Maybe some of their sins are worse than others, but they kind of come together, and it's like in the end they needed each other to become better from it, but
Yeah.
specifically each other, and it was like
So are we just giving up on the TLDL?
I think so. I
Yeah.
think we just need to talk about
We
it
just
because
need to
there's
talk
a lot
about
to
it.
talk about.
Right. We're
Yeah.
approaching 40 minutes.
Yeah.
I would like
Um,
to keep
well-
it under an hour.
I would like to make it longer than our last episode, though. So we'll
Okay.
try and stop around a little bit over 50, and then we can stop.
Yeah,
So-
sounds good.
All right. Yeah. I think the religious symbolism that's in it, in the end, they kind of say, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter what faith you adhere to, or if you adhere to no faith. It's just all about the connections you'll find with people, and just making sure you are always bettering yourself with the
Yeah.
help of these people. And I people, especially like Jack and Sawyer, are very reluctant to take that help based on previous life experiences and trying to, build themselves up as individuals. I'd say a lot of them are, but those two especially, I would say. And then in the end, they realize Christian, Jack's father, said something in the finale that no one can do it alone.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Speaking of the finale and the different faiths, it was really cool to me that it ended with all of them together in a church setting, but the stained glass had the different symbols for all
Right.
for all the different faiths, and it really never specified whether this was all of them combined, or if after this meetup they would go to their respective afterlives, or it was just really ambiguous. And I think that was a really smart decision on the writer's part, because people who had been invested would be like, oh man, well, are they saying that I'm wrong about my own beliefs? And yeah,
And I think,
it was
again, what they were
smart
trying to
because-
say was that it doesn't matter in the end, right? Like, to an extent it does, but not to this ridiculous, what's important isn't whether your faith is right or not. It's just that you believe in something, and it doesn't even have to be religious, just like some sort of core values, right? And then you're able to become a better person from those values and beliefs that you have, whether religious or secular.
Yeah.
I think that's the point that was trying to get across in that finale.
Oh yeah, speaking of beliefs and growing, Sawyer, never before have I wanted to kill a character more in the beginning and not wanted to kill him in the end.
Sawyer is fantastic, and he is. There's a lot with him, really.
Oh, there was a lot with Sawyer.
Yeah, he had a pretty messed up childhood. His mom cheated on his dad with Locke's dad,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
then
that's another. Every single person's story is connected prior to the island.
the interconnectiveness of the characters' pasts and then their futures is insane, and it's almost like they were predestined to be on that flight and land there, which is concepts that they explore in the show, and you really just need to watch it for yourself. But it is something that is very, very interesting to think about, And
Absolutely.
it's. I was just sitting here, and it was like a passing thought for me when I was watching the finale. But it would be crazy if at some point you met not only one person, but like a group of people who had that much in common with not only each other but yourself, and there was just these relationships you had no idea already existed.
Oh yeah, definitely. By the way, that was me cracking my knuckles.
Jack and Claire are
down.
siblings.
So, yeah, Jack and Claire. Claire is from Australia, and Jack is definitely not from Australia. But Jack's dad,
he's like not
he talks like this, and
he's kind of scary.
Yeah, a little bit.
But yeah, he had I think he had multiple affairs, but this one affair ended up in the birth of his a daughter who is Jack's half sister, and in the flash sideways they end up finding each other and becoming good friends eventually, which is I thought something that was really cool. Something else I'd loved with the finale too was so when I finished it for the first time, I didn't understand why everyone that they, were friends with wasn't in the church with them. But this time I was paying more attention, and I, realized Ben said it, and then Hurley said it about Ana Lucia. They're not ready yet.
Yeah.
They haven't gotten their closure yet because everyone else has.
Yeah.
And so they're able to pass on from, purgatory to heaven is essentially what it is. That's what the church represents, passing on from heaven to purgatory. And so
you mean the other way around,
or purgatory to heaven, excuse me.
Yeah.
So they're ready. They have their closure. They found each other. But Ben and Ana Lucia and whatever characters didn't come, they still need that. They still need to find that, which I didn't understand at the first time, but now I do. But it's very. I thought that was a very smart.
Yeah. Right.
Wait.
Speaking of Ana Lucia, that reminds me of Libby, which reminds me of Hurley.
All right.
Okay, so we talked about all the stuff. Let's talk about Desmond, and then let's talk about all the stupid stuff.
Okay.
The stuff that doesn't make any sense, or the questions, or whatever.
All right. So, all right. What do you want to talk about with Desmond? He's just like he's probably.
I just want to talk about
character.
how Desmond is really awesome.
Desmond is awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Desmond. What doesn't he do?
Nothing.
Yeah, right. He travels through time. He has a cool backstory. He has a cool, funny accent because funny accent is funny.
Yeah. Funny.
Yeah, Desmond is pretty cool. He also isn't a horrible person.
No, he's one of the few characters that genuinely didn't. He's not. What he did before getting to the island that was so terrible really wasn't his own fault. It was all kind of there's the whole situation with Penny, his girlfriend, and her dad.
Not Penny's boat.
Oh my lord, there's so much more to talk about.
You want everybody? No, I don't want to talk about everything because that leaves nothing to watch.
Right.
No, here's a fun challenge. Oh, I just sounded like Jack's films. Wow. Okay. Listen to this again after watching Lost and see if go on a reference scavenger hunt.
I like that idea.
Me too. Actually, you can go through all of our podcasts from now on and do a Lost scavenger hunt.
Because we probably left references in the past 2 episodes that we weren't even aware of, and we will not stop after this one.
Yeah, correct. Okay, anyways, so Desmond Hume, he's cool.
Yeah,
and
that's
now,
all there is to it.
Now let's talk about some of the more questionable aspects of the show.
All right.
For example,
yeah, go ahead.
The entirety of the series may have taken place inside of Hurley's mind. And we don't know if it did or not.
I don't think I believe that.
I don't. But the fact that it is even a possibility makes me angry. So,
for those who don't know, in around, I think it's season 4 or 5, Hurley is revealed to have been.
Well, I mean, it's. Oh, who is his friend? What was the guy's name? His
don't
imaginary
remember.
friend. Okay, keep talking.
Right. So regardless, Hurley's crazy. He's in a mental institution, and he sees dead people.
Dave,
Uh,
season 2, episode 18.
That's it. Okay. Well, regardless, Hurley is. He sees dead people. He sees his dead friends. He sees Charlie after he dies, and he sees Libby after she dies.
Oh yeah,
Now,
Charlie and Libby die, by the way.
Jacob, who we've talked about Jacob so far, but we haven't explained who he is. He's essentially
don't-
God.
Yeah,
That's how I would describe him.
I don't
He's
feel like
God
explaining Jacob. Oh,
or
but what
God.
was interesting is kind of how, you know that episode of the Clone Wars with the father, the brother, and the
Yes.
sister.
Yeah.
It's kind of a similar thing on the island.
Right. Okay, so he has a brother named. He doesn't have a name. They just call him the Man in Black, and the two are. They're sort of a yin yang. It's one's good, one's evil, but they're not fully good and they're not fully evil. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So they kind of balance each other out, but it's they're
They're
the
always
island,
trying to kill each other.
right? And they don't just it's not just the island. It's the whole the island acts as this bottle cap to keep the Men in Black on the island.
Because there's this
From
there's
escaping.
the light, and it powers the island and keeps it magic. I guess I don't want to talk about it anymore.
It's so complicated, and I'm sorry, I can't get through a sentence without finishing it because there's just it doesn't even make sense to
Yeah.
finish.
You just
in a
have
sentence.
to watch it. You just have to
Watch
watch it.
it to understand it. Okay, so
So anyways,
Where did I
back
jump
to
from?
we were talking
Hurley.
about Hurley being insane and possibly
Jacob tells him
hallucinating the
he's
whole
not.
thing.
Jacob tells him he's not, but assuming Hurley imagined the whole thing, then that means Jacob's not real, and he is still crazy,
Yeah,
and he sees
so-
dead people, and it's
So essentially, the big implication that Hurley was insane the whole time is that in the episode with Dave shows up on the island, and Dave was this guy who was a horrible influence on Hurley. He was basically the manifestation of Hurley's lack of self-confidence,
yeah,
and he hallucinated Dave the whole time. Dave tried to convince him to escape the mental institution. Dave told him to be a jerk. Dave basically took over his life, and was it his eating disorder?
yes,
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
it
Dave
was.
Dave is an eating disorder. So in Lost you get to see the embodiment of an eating disorder. And which is something I'm pretty sure most other shows don't have. But yeah, so he sees Dave on the island and then he pushes Dave off a cliff and kills him. But Hurley and Libby, Hurley likes Libby and Libby likes Hurley. And he's like, there's no way that someone like you would actually like me. And she basically talks him out of jumping off of a cliff because she does in fact like him. But then at the end of the episode, we see a flashback to the mental institution. And Hurley's like, this is on the island. Hurley's like, I feel like I've seen you before. And then in the mental institute, I cannot say that
Libby
word.
was a patient.
Yeah, Libby was one of the patients at the mental institution as well.
Yeah, it's so weird.
I mean,
It bothers me.
the
now
fact
I'm
that he
getting
never did anything with that storyline.
Listen, Trey, okay, 20 minutes ago I was happy because I just watched a handful of episodes. I remember how much I liked it. Now you're making me remember how angry the show made me. Okay, it's all right.
Let's see some other stupid stuff. They never explain the numbers.
No, they don't. The numbers are cool. though.
Yeah, the numbers
whole
are cool.
Harvard initiative is very interesting, and I like how they build that and hype that up. But
Too
then
bad
it kind
they never did anything with it.
No.
Yeah,
I just
so
wish-
the biggest reveal for the numbers was whenever Jacob had that compass thing
yeah,
to spy on Jack's house,
and
and then Jack destroyed the compass.
they never.
Or
explain.
what was it, a lighthouse?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lighthouse, right? I've seen. Well, okay, so this is a cool thing that I saw, and then I did it for myself today just to see it wasn't a Photoshop thing. If you type in the coordinates of the number, so you go 4, 8, 15, 16, 23, 42, it drops you in some island off the coast of. It's not in the. It's not near Fiji. It's off the coast of Africa, but it's still an island and a very small one at that. Which I just thought was interesting, and I don't know if they knew that or not, but just thought that was cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
Okay, the numbers are cool. At one point, that was the password for my phone, but I changed that because then at one point I forgot what the numbers were, and then
Gasp.
I couldn't Google it.
How could you ever forget what the numbers were?
I don't know.
What do you mean you couldn't Google it?
Well, I didn't have my phone to unlock, and I didn't feel like going to a computer. Well, I eventually typed it on a computer, but I was at like school, and so.
Oh. Okay.
Okay.
4, 8, 15, 16, 23, 42.
4, 8, 15, 16, 23, 42. 4, 8. Hey, what would be funny if people who haven't listened to this episode, here's the plan. We'll just randomly in the middle of our future episodes just stop and just say a number. One of the numbers, but so it could go like this. So yeah, I really like 4. And I really liked how the movie did, and it's something like
perfect.
that. Like
That's
we'll just stop.
Yeah, we'll make sure we do the entire sequence in the episode.
Right, and if no one's seen this episode, they'll be very confused, and I think that'll be kind of funny.
Do you want to name the episode 4, 8, 15, 16, 23, 42?
That was my plan. Yeah.
Okay.
So, yes. Yeah, I like that.
Okay. I like it as well.
Cool.
Okay.
There's
so much to talk about. I don't know why we thought this was a good idea.
I don't know either. We could go on. Well, you know what? I watched the episodes this week so we could do this episode, so I was not waiting longer to do it, okay?
Yeah, right.
Had to do this. But I think at some point in the future we need to I don't think this is like Star Wars where we could just talk about the whole thing because everyone's seen it. We probably should have picked a specific topic to talk about. But
yeah, probably.
I think once we have an overview of it after this episode, and if people decide to watch it, we can come back and specify. We'll do one episode, and we'll just the mysteries of Lost, and we'll talk about unanswered questions.
Can we talk about the episode with Desmond?
If I know the one you're talking about, then yes. Go ahead.
The one where he goes back in time.
Oh, you mean his consciousness travels back in time?
Yeah.
That was actually one of the ones I watched this week. So yes,
it's supposedly one of the best episodes of Lost.
I really liked it, but it was also very weird.
Yeah, I liked it.
I loved it, but it's just odd. It's just bizarre. And then he meets. It's bizarre. Like they say you can't change the future, but then he goes back and tells his girlfriend not to change her number, and then she didn't change it. So I don't know how that works.
Yeah.
Time travel makes no sense. It's kind of like Endgame. I would say the time travel logic in Lost is like Endgame logic. Avengers Endgame.
Yeah.
It's similar to that. It's akin to that, I think.
I like Endgame.
We'll talk about that another time.
I mean,
I think we're just tired now, and I think weekly podcast boys just tune in every week.
Yep.
More crap like this.
I think we should. Can we talk about Sanjay and Craig for the remainder of the episode?
I'd rather not.
Okay.
I mean, we can.
No.
No?
No, we should probably finish up talking about Lost.
Alrighty. Is there anything specifically? For me,
so
I think it's a great, it's 6 seasons. It's this one whole complete story. It has very well developed characters.
Absolutely.
A lot of mystery, and every episode stands on its own pretty well. There are very few episodes that I disliked.
Such as watching. What's an episode that you did not like?
I can't even think of it off the top of my head. That's what I'm saying. They're just so few and far between. There were maybe episodes. There were none that I can think of that I genuinely disliked. There were a few that were like a little bit slower.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't focus. And sometimes there were some of the side characters they would focus on. Like the episode would focus on a random side character and then show flashback to them, and then we'd never come back to them again.
Oh,
those episodes I didn't know about. But otherwise, you're so intrigued and you get so enthralled and encapsulated in the mystery, and the characters are so easy to grasp onto that even for me after watching like 2 episodes, I was already back into it. Like I not even remembered. I was just excited to see more from the characters.
See more, the house is on fire.
Even though I had seen the whole show already. You know what I mean? I wanted to see all their stories.
Didn't laugh at my steamed hams joke.
Second time. Yeah, I'm not going to laugh at it. We'll do a Simpsons episode and we could just make steamed ham jokes.
Absolutely not. Are you kidding me? 6 seasons apparently is too much for us.
Well, it's not like the Simpsons is like one overarching story. They're just random episodes.
Yeah,
we could just make...
No, we have some worse. We have some more horrendous topics to cover.
Yeah. Listen, I
like
think
Sanjay and Craig.
yes, that's never happening.
Oh, come on, please. Can we please do a Sanjay and Craig episode?
Here's what we'll do. We'll do one episode where I don't come on. It's just we call it the Traye Show.
No, that's already an episode on my YouTube channel. Maximum
right.
Saximum. Subscribe.
Okay. But we call it the Traye Show, and then as in the podcast, and we white out the part that says the Maxwell but it's clear. It's not like we reformat it so it looks good. It's clearly whited out.
Stupid.
And then
It's like Mike and Ike. Remember when they did that thing a couple of years ago?
It was terrible.
Wherever it was, which side are you, Mike or Ike? Remember? That was
yes.
that's.
Cool. That was
that was one of the greatest gang wars of all time.
Yeah.
I mean, are you Mike or are you Ike? You have to pick a side, and you got to pick fast. And whichever side you don't pick, they are coming after you.
It's up there with green versus purple and right Twix versus left Twix.
Okay, you know what?
In my opinion,
that settles it. We're doing an episode on the Mike versus Ike gang war. Ooh, actually, I rather like that concept of a format. It's kind of like an internet historian kind of thing where we talk about stupid stuff.
That could either be an entire series we do on here or just a side thing.
I think we should do it as a series. I think we should document random stupid events that happen.
Right.
And present them in a serious manner, and it would have to be scripted.
Right. We do one of those once a month. Yeah, I actually like that idea. We could do one once a month, and it would just we'd call it the stupid series or something.
Really, that's the best thing you could come up with.
Well, it's not like it's going to be quality, so I don't think the name deserves as much.
Oh, I think it does. I mean, I'm the one who came up with the name The Maxwell Traye Show, so clearly I'm the naming genius here.
Right. Train Gabe's Tubular Escapade.
Yeah.
Okay, how did that come about?
Wait.
We were like Excellent Adventure.
Yeah, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
But then we searched up synonyms.
Yeah. So, let us know if that's something you'd like to see.
Yeah.
And by let us know, cool. I mean we're going to do it, but we would like to hear your feedback anyways.
This could be a Patreon exclusive if we get some patrons.
Ooh, now there's an idea.
Yeah, I like it.
Maybe we could do an episode or two as a test, see if people like them, and then make it a Patreon exclusive.
I think, that's actually... Oh, okay, that's a really good idea. We could do that.
Yeah.
Do you think...
Don't worry, we'll still get the fanfic.
When do you think we're going to have our special project up by?
Oh, man, I don't know. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, we're working on a project for my YouTube channel. Yeah. And needless to say, COVID-19 has vastly delayed filming. But we should be on track for maybe late this year. Yeah.
Well, you're talking about the miniseries, right?
Yeah, I am talking about the miniseries.
I'm referring to our...
Oh, the documentary.
Shut up.
Well, I didn't say anything about it.
It's not.
Oh, it's a truthful. It's a documentary.
It's a documentary. You're right.
It's real accounts of real people.
When do you think we'll have that up by?
Oh, I don't know. Whenever we feel like it, I guess.
All right. Well, we are. Yeah, I'd like to get that up soon.
Yeah, me too.
I think before Memorial Day would be cool. And
that would be cool.
That would just be something for people to have and just see how that goes.
Yeah, faux shizzle, as the kids say.
Faux shizzle, as the kids say, indeed. Well. All right. Yeah. Do we want to bring things back to Lost before we close things up? Because I think it's time for us to start shutting it down now.
Yeah, me too. I mean, first of all, thanks to everybody who's listened this far. I mean, we didn't really talk about anything, but if you like the sound of our voices, well, thank you very much for your attention.
And you're welcome.
Yeah, Evan, shout out to you for listening to this on 3 times speed. We both know you are.
Thank you for that. Speaking of Evan, I think we would like to have. If any of the members from On Your Nerves is listening, we would love to have all 4 of you guys on at some point in the near future.
Yeah.
If you would like to come on as guest hosts, let us know.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That would be very cool. We'd love to have you guys, and I think you guys would, provide a lot of interesting dialogue for us to have. So that'd be great.
Faux shizzle, as the kids say.
So do we want to bring it back to Lost and just talk about the finale real quick?
And sure. We'll talk about the finale and how everybody thought they were dead.
Yeah. So do you want to explain that or do you want me to?
Yeah, I'll take this one.
Yeah.
So essentially, the ending of Lost is one of the most controversial endings of all time. Not because of the ideals it portrays or anything, but just because it was misinterpreted by so many people that they were dead the whole time. Because it shows all of the characters from the show who had died at different points throughout, and they're all together in this area, in this church, and everybody interpreted that as, oh crap, they were actually dead the whole time. Oh yeah, also adding to that is the fact that Jack dies in the same spot that he woke up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I don't know how that could have been put. I genuinely do not realize how that could have been ever misinterpreted.
well, I mean, okay, so I don't know if the version on streaming is different from the version that aired on television. So I don't know if some of the important dialogue that really shows that they weren't dead the whole time was on the original network release.
Right. Yeah.
But that being said, I don't know because I didn't watch it.
Right. We watched it once they came to the streaming services.
Oh, that was my elbow. My elbow popped. That was cool.
Regardless, though, the finale was extraordinarily controversial. Not a lot of people liked it, which I found interesting because personally, I love the finale, and I think it's this perfect conclusion and perfectly wraps up not all the storylines or the mysteries, but the emotional, the story arcs of the specific characters and their emotional journeys. I think it wraps it up and brings them together in a very satisfying way, at least for me. I don't know how you feel about it.
Yeah, I thought it was a good ending for the characters. The story, not so much, but the characters for sure.
Which I think Disney. If Disney took Lost, they took it from
was
Hulu.
An ABC property.
Yeah,
and now it's
if
on
they
Hulu.
If they take it from Hulu, put it on Disney Plus, and give it like that front page promotion, I think people would start watching it.
Me
and
too.
I think a Disney Plus original about Hurley and Ben's adventures post finale.
You do realize that exists.
What?
There's a 12-minute special that was on one of the DVDs.
Oh, I've seen that stuff. But
Yeah.
I mean like a fully fledged.
I mean, yeah, that would be cool, but I doubt that they would put such a mature show on Disney Plus.
I doubt it too. A man can dream, okay?
Yeah.
A man can dream.
A man DeLorean.
Faux shizzle, as the kids say.
That one didn't even make sense.
Exactly.
I think you're just trying to plug the catchphrase now.
I think that's the best part to put it in when it makes the least sense.
Yeah, faux shizzle, as the kids say.
As the kids say.
Yeah, because we're down and hip with the kids.
Like Pizza Steve.
Like Pizza Steve. Oh man, I love Pizza Steve. Pizza Steve.
I turned myself into a piece of pizza, Uncle Grandpa. I'm Pizza Steve.
Hey, UG, come into the garage. Pizza Steve? What? Oh, crap, I messed it up. See, because at that point, he was just Steve. I turned myself into a piece of pizza, UG. I'm Pizza Steve. What are we even talking about at this point?
This might have been a bad idea, but I think this was.
Yeah. I think this was more an episode if you wanted to hear cool stuff about the series.
Yeah, because honestly,
and get more interested in it,
I
and
don't
just see that for simply the fact that we could talk about it for an hour and still have so much left to talk about.
Right, is incredible. I think this isn't like Star Wars where everyone's seen it and we could just talk about whatever freely.
It's like the opposite, almost.
It's the opposite, and it's where Star Wars is a very simplistic story. Lost is way too overly complicated, and there's so much content. So I honestly would be surprised if if you're listening to this 2 years from now, if we end up making 3 or 4 more episodes related to Lost, or not Lost centric episodes, but we have a sidebar on Lost regarding whatever topic we'd end up discussing. Because there's just a lot to talk about. It's referenced in a lot. I remember there was an Arthur episode where, do you remember this? One of the characters gets hooked on this TV show where this group of people gets stranded on an island, and she binges all like 5 seasons of it on DVD, but she gets way too obsessed with it, so her friends tell her she needs to lay off because she's she's locking herself in all weekend.
That's fantastic.
Did you not remember that?
No, I didn't remember. I don't remember that at all. That's phenomenal.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So Lost is in Arthur now.
There's also a lot of references to it in The Office, like
Yeah.
in the first season.
Doing
Dwight,
it.
like, do you remember Dwight turns to the camera in the first season? He goes, "It's like when they met the others and Lost," and then he like smiles. And Michael's like told him to shut up. That was a great scene. It is even funnier if you know the show because they're going down to the warehouse. So,
It's like when they met the others in Lost.
and he gives that dumb smirk to the camera. Okay.
Okay.
I think it's time to wrap it up.
It's
now.
time. Yeah,
Yeah.
Thanks guys for sticking with us to the end. If you did, if you got bored halfway through, I don't blame you.
Yeah. Thank you. We
yeah.
really appreciate it if you stayed this long. We'd love it if you could subscribe to us on YouTube. Make sure you download our podcast on all of our platforms, and then check us out on Instagram and on YouTube. Trey's YouTube is Maximum Saximum, and mine is Max Ryan Christopher.
And hey, if you want to be a patron, then feel free.
Feel free to give us free money.
Yeah.
It's
Rolling
not
in
free.
the quick cash.
It's by free. I mean, we didn't have to do any work aside from making a crappy podcast.
We
and
had
you
to
guys
talk.
just
We
give us
had
money.
to force ourselves to talk for over an hour.
Please pity us and give us the
Please.
money, and we will write fanfic about.
We will
the
write Star Wars fan fiction, and we will do a Patreon exclusive series, depending
Right.
on if that's what the fans with a Z, of course, want.
Yes, faux shizzle, as the kids say.
TLDL, faux shizzle, as the kids say.
TLDL, Lost
Okay,
is great. You
here's-
should,
no,
get
here's-
Hulu just for Lost, or
Yeah.
get a month free trial and then binge all of it.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, just do that. Just get the
Yeah.
month free trial and then watch all of
yeah,
it.
you can. It's watchable in a month for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Especially if
Faux
you get really
shizzle, as
into
the
it.
kids say.
Faux shizzle, as the kids say.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so I'm thinking merch. We have a TLDL hat, and then a faux shizzle, as the kids say, T-shirt.
And then I think we need to have one that is it's just a picture of Pizza Steve. I genuinely, or it's like a minimalist thing where it has the sunglasses and the pepperoni, but like it's not the actual.
Yeah,
You know, yeah, I like that.
I like
like
that
that.
as well.
I like that.
I also like that we haven't actually talked about Pizza Steve. Just
No, but-
mentioned him in passing.
Right. Should we do an Uncle Grandpa? We're doing
an
an
Uncle Grandpa.
We should do gross out cartoons from the early 2010s and talk
Like
about
Sanjay
Sanjay and Craig,
Craig
and
and
Uncle
Uncle
Grandpa.
Grandpa.
That's perfect.
Yeah, in 2010, SpongeBob.
We don't talk about that ever.
Okay.
Faux shizzle is a kid.
No, we could also talk about Pig Goat Banana Cricket and how it was horrible in every way. You forgot about Pig Goat Banana Cricket, didn't you?
I hate you.
Yeah, me too. That's all right. Yeah, Pig Goat Banana Cricket. Okay, so if I had my gross out shows tier list, I'd say F tier is Pig Goat Banana Cricket. E, wait, no, E, yeah. No, I'm just gonna go up to D tier. D tier is Fanboy and Chum Chum. B tier, Uncle Grandpa. And S plus tier is Sanjay and Craig.
Faux shizzle, as the kids say. I like how our Discord. We're currently recording on Discord, like we did for the last episode, and our profile pictures are Sanjay and Craig characters.
Yeah, I'm Craig, and Maxwell is Hector.
The next episode should be the Sanjay and Hector show.
Absolutely not.
You cacked at that.
I did.
You unironically cacked.
I did.
Should we end it now?
Yeah,
This-
we really
straight
should. Just
up
put a
over.
bullet in it.
Yeah.
Like
Alright.
Michael did with
Deal.
Ana Lucia. Get it?
Okay, so TLDL.
Yeah,
you know,
TLDL, Lost is
Lost is
good.
great. Sorry, we kind of got sidetracked there, but thank you for listening. I think this was our more. This is more fun to record than
Yeah.
the last two,
Yeah.
because the first one I don't think either of us were really like prepared on what to do, and the
Mhm.
last one we recorded for an hour without actually recording.
Yeah, this was just two idiots talking for an hour about a TV show we like, and then everybody can
Which
listen
is-
to it.
Which is pretty much how the rest of them are going to be. The Star Wars one got a little deep, if I'm being honest. I don't think they're
Uh-huh,
going
it did.
to be like that from now on. This one's going to be more like this. It's just going to be us kind of maybe
Oh,
we'll
that's
just
so
do
cool.
another-
Every time I pop my knuckles, the little green indicator for my volume goes up.
I was listening to Joe Rogan today, and I realized
course you
how. No, listen. I realized how those discussions go with his guest host, and then I'm like,
And on the
okay,
other end of the spectrum,
Uh.
what was that random gap in the sound, you may ask?
So take another guess. Technical difficulties
So-
on Trey's end.
so-
Surprise.
So my computer crashed.
Anytime you go silent from now on, by the way, I'm just gonna have
Yeah, so
PTSD, anxiety.
it was terrifying. My computer, the screen went completely black, and then it was just my cursor. It was horrible. It was the worst thing I've ever experienced. It was so scary. But we're good. We're back now. So let's wrap things up before it crashes again.
Yeah. So
Because it will, knowing our luck with this.
yeah, we did talk about the finale though, right?
Oh yeah, we said TLDL, Lost is good,
Okay.
and then we talked about Joe Rogan and how this is the complete opposite of Joe Rogan.
Right. So yeah, thank you everyone for listening. Just make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube and you've downloaded us on all our platforms, and you're subscribed to Trey's YouTube channel and my YouTube channel. Other than that, thank you so much for listening and listening to us babble on. I think in the future, we're gonna try and
Babble on.
keep these more concrete and actually no, we're not. It's probably going to be more like this episode actually, where we're just rambling on, just two idiots with a mic. Oh,
Yep.
shizzle, let's say.
Oh shizzle, as the kids say. Yeah, that's all for this week. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you in another life, brother.